at least for me, spinning the block is a no-no.
Now, how many times did you try to work it out with an ex before you came to that realization? Spinning the block can be a good thing too, because one example is look at Nelly and Ashanti.
I get what you're saying, because the things that you were looking for in your teenage years and your 20s aren't the same things that you're going to want in your 30s. But sometimes your worlds align again at a certain part of your life.
So what do you think? Let's get back together.
Let's get back together.
There's nothing it could hurt. It can only get better. Think of what if life felt like for you and I to turn our nights into forever. See, it don't take a rocket scientist to know I love you.
And it don't take a rocket scientist to know I need you.
See, if you believe that you and me could change the world someday, then you believe me when I say I still love you. I still love you. I decided I still love you.
I decided I still
Babe.
love you. Huh?
Babe, no. We got an episode to do.
Damn. Okay.
Now you know how I feel like.
No, not really.
Okay.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Marquis.
And this is your one on your favorite Taylor.
And welcome back to the You Stuck With Me podcast.
You stuck with me.
So, babe, you trying to tell me something? You still love me? I ain't going nowhere, but still.
You damn right you ain't going nowhere.
You ain't going nowhere anyway.
I might go somewhere.
Y'all see what I deal with?
I might go to the Bahamas or something.
Yeah.
And shake a tail feather.
Babe.
Oh.
Babe. It's 2023, not 2003.
And that song still hit though.
You right. But so y'all, what's going on? We getting into this episode. We talking about spinning the block.
Spinning the block.
So
what does that mean?
I'm glad you asked. I'm about to break it down. So for anybody who don't know what spinning the block is, basically you going back to see if you and an ex can work it out.
Oh hell no.
Yeah. I'm not for the spinning the block. I'm really not. And life lessons have told me not to spin the block, so I don't.
I mean, why are we going back for seconds?
See, I'm a firm believer, like, if it didn't work out the first time, there's a reason why.
Well, okay, it depends on the person. Because if you and that person match energies, as they call it, match energies, then I could see a reason why. If you really felt like that person is your soulmate, maybe the opportunity presented itself and y'all back together and it's working out fine. Excuse me. So you gotta think about this. You gotta think about it like this. Take for example, we talk about us all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just say we dated in high school, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we broke up. And then years later, we're in a different mindset. We're grown now. We're 30 plus. And we get back together and it's working out. What does that tell you? That we're more mature now. And we have different visions and goals and mindsets.
I can see that and I understand that. But there was another song that came to mind, though.
What's that?
What is it? Usher, 21 Savage, and Summer Walker, and they were like right person, wrong time.
What's that? Come Through?
No. That's
I forgot.
I forgot the name of it, but it just came out. It's fairly new still.
Oh, good.
Good.
Yeah, good.
That's what it makes me think.
Good. So I can understand that. Or you know what Spin the Block remind me of?
What?
Remember that Life Jennings song?
Mm-hmm.
Let's stay together. Don't do it for me, kids. Do it for me. He sang his heart out with that.
Yeah, and that's another song that makes me think about spinning the block. But See, I feel like if you're gonna spin the block with somebody, that means you would have had to have a relationship with them prior. Because I've heard some people say spinning the block is also, and maybe I don't know, maybe the way I think about it. But spinning the block, some people is if you shoot your shot at somebody, they shoot you down the first time. You try again, and then it work. You guys get together.
I mean, that's a form of it.
So spinning the block, there's
To
basically.
me, it's a form of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So basically, there are different definitions of spinning the block.
Well, it's like I said. Let's touch on the one about shooting your shot, then getting shot down, and coming back. So I actually told you this analogy. Watch this. Watch this. Okay. So let's just use our story.
Okay.
You tried to shoot your shot with me in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Got turned down.
Oh, so you admit it?
That's not the point. That's not the point. That's not the point. Focus. Okay? Focus. We're here. Focus.
Okay.
So we try. No, don't do that. So you try to holler at me in high school. Didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
Then years later we reconnect and everything works, right? We're married and all this. We living life. Living our best life.
Mm-hmm.
So think about this. You're an athlete, right?
Right.
You play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
How many tries at a free throw do you get?
Depends on the foul, but 1, 2, 3.
What's the basic number? 2?
2.
Okay, you shot one free throw that you missed.
Right.
You tried again. You're successful, so you 50 for 50.
Mm-hmm.
Same concept.
I like it. I like that concept.
Yeah. I be coming with the knowledge.
Especially when you were an athlete yourself.
We ain't not talking about me, man.
I'm just giving you credit. It's a great concept because
I appreciate it. I received the credit.
You put it in a way that's easy to understand.
But yeah, so wait, my phone falling a little bit. Let me put this right here. But yeah, so same concept.
Okay.
Or like Aaliyah said, first you don't succeed, try again. But I think it has a limit to that though.
Please go into that.
Okay, I'm telling y'all my business. Okay, so I had this one ex, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had been together for so many years. I'm not going to disclose how many years because they may be listening, and I don't want the text like, why are you talking about me on your podcast? So we're going to say so many years. So the first time we got together, we were young. We was trying to figure life out. Then we broke up. Got a little bit older, tried to work it out, but it just seemed kind of off. So that's why I say with the matching energies, that plays a factor because if you get back together and then they doing something that reminds you why you broke up in the first place, you're gonna be in that same negative connotation mindset. Like, okay, I don't need to be here. But if you see that they changed, you feeling a little bit more positive. You feel like you see there's growth there. I'm like, oh, okay. Maybe we were just young and dumb. But anyway, so we tried it for a second time. Yeah, it felt okay at first. But then certain conversations were had, and we just didn't mesh well.
Mm-hmm.
And it just put me in a space like, damn, why am I trying this? Life is too short. I can find somebody who wants to build and grow, to expand a career, who wouldn't mind having an entrepreneurial mindset like me, who don't want to just be confined to one thing and be satisfied. That's not saying that's a bad thing, but that's not the way I'm built. I'm more of like a creative. I'm more of want to have ownership as opposed to just continue to work under somebody. So then when you came around, you was like, yeah, I want to get married. I want to have kids. I want to have my own business. I'm going to have my own business, and I want to travel the world. I'm like, that's more my speed. So.
Okay. I definitely feel you on that one. So I'm gonna discuss it from my point of view and things I've been through.
Mm-hmm.
So, through my life, I've dated young ladies, and then, I've had my times where I've actually spun the block.
Oh.
Yeah. So
pimping all over the world.
I wouldn't say pimping, but I've dated. So I was dating this young lady, and it didn't work. So gave it some. We officially broken up, and then we gave it some time.
Mm-hmm.
and we actually tried to work it out, but by the time we actually tried to work it out, she didn't tell me that she was also seeing somebody else. So in effect, in a word, she was replacing me.
So not to cut you off, I just want a little bit more context. So were you exclusively dating?
We were exclusively dating.
Okay.
So
That's a problem.
So she was seeing me and then trying to see him too. So I removed myself from making her trying to choose. I'm like, I'm gonna make it easy for you. So after that, obviously it didn't work out with them. So she came back to me, and I said, no, I have no feelings for you. And
you get no love from me.
And at that point is when I learned that, at least for me, spinning the block is a no-no.
Now, how many times did you try to work it out with an ex before you came to that realization?
That was actually the first and only time.
Okay.
So fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Now, again, I understand where you're coming from, but spinning the block can be a good thing too. Because one example is look at Nelly and Ashanti.
Yeah, which is where we get the basis from. Which is how we came up with this topic about spinning the block, because obviously it's working for them, and they're actually expecting a child together. So congratulations to them,
baby. That's gonna be one little good-looking child, and they're gonna be spoiled.
Oh yeah, because a lot of ladies feel like Nelly looks good, and a lot of guys feel like Ashanti looks good, especially a boy. But
no.
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 Okay.
Well, no, I guess because Nelly does look good though.
See.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
I don't know what to say about that one. That was a good one. That was a good one. But yeah, see, we this is big going. It's going on with them. They're getting ready to have their first child together. Congratulations.
Well, it's Ashanti's first child.
Ashanti's first child.
Yeah.
I forgot Nelly already has a child.
And I think he might have a grandchild. I think so. One of his kids has a kid.
Nelly has a grandfather.
I have to look.
We gotta look that up. We're not spreading any rumors.
We're not spreading any rumors, but I think one of his kids has a child now.
But back to the topic at hand. For me, I'm after one time, I'm good on that. But now that we discussed that there are different, I guess, for lack of better words, levels of spinning the block.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it did work out for us because obviously we're married. But prior to that, I was like, no, I'm not a fan of it.
Oh, it looks like I was right. Nana? Oh, Nana had a kid?
Oh, dang, I didn't know she's 29.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to our producer Steve with dropping the...
I know, right?
Dropping the gems for us.
Dropping the gems for us, doing our fact finding. But yeah. Wait, Nelly, 48. Okay, we getting off topic now. We'll come back to that. Nelly is 48 as a grandfather.
Hey. But
I wouldn't mind trying to get his AARP card.
He's too young for an AARP card. He still got 7 years?
7?
Yeah. You don't get AARP cards until you're 55.
They bumped up the age?
Yeah.
I thought it was 60.
I thought it was 55. Maybe it is 60.
Well, anyway.
We'll get back to y'all on that later. But yeah.
Hey, must be the money.
but I mean,
I'm sorry, y'all.
I honestly think that spinning the block, it can work. I'm not saying that it won't work or it can't work, but I think depending on the person, spinning the block may not be a good thing because some people don't change that much.
Well, it's not that the person don't change that much. What we want as individuals change constantly.
That's a big fact.
You know what I'm saying? So like I was saying before with the example of my ex, he was okay with just working a regular job. He didn't really have ambitions at the time, of, starting his own or whatever like that, mm-hmm. which was perfectly fine. That's not what I wanted.
Okay.
And we just didn't share the same ambitions. So excuse me. So like how we were younger and we have like all these big hopes and dreams, like, oh, I want to be a basketball player when I grow up. Oh, I want to be a wrestler when I grew up. Of course, we grew out of that phase.
Right.
Now here we are in our late teens going into young adulthood. Okay, I want to go to college. I want to go out of state. I want to stay here. Okay, cool. Then move on to adulthood. Okay, I want to go back to school. I want to learn entrepreneurship or whatever the case may be. Okay, I'm okay working for Joe Schmo and build up in a company, which is fine too. So
I get what you're saying, because the things that you were looking for in your teenage years and your 20s aren't the same things that you're gonna want in your 30s. But some things, sometimes your worlds align again at a certain part of your life. So, like, take us for example. I asked you out in high school, and you said no.
but let's be clear, because I was already talking to somebody. I was already in a relationship.
A what?
A relationship.
A what?
A relationship.
A what?
I had a boyfriend.
A what?
Get back to your thought.
But, because the way the world works, we, ran into each other again, and, lo and behold, here we are. So I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But you also, I think because things have happened to me, I also still have my skepticism, just because I've been through both of them. You see what I'm saying?
And then also too, it's based on that one experience that you had. Now, opposed to me, that wasn't my first time splitting the block.
Mm-hmm.
I think I probably tried it like 2 or 3 times, and I got an idea like, okay, this just ain't gonna work. So I just need to look outside of stuff.
See, and I think that because we've had two different experiences, we feel the way that we feel. But that's not to say that you're wrong and I'm right, or vice versa.
Yeah.
It's all subjugated.
Yeah.
Or not subjugated, but subjective.
Yeah. And then it doesn't always have to go for dating too. It can go for marriages too. Like how many times we heard of a married couple filing for divorce and then it gets knocked off the table.
Yeah, and or they actually do go through the divorce, and somewhere down the line they realize that they're better together than they're apart, and they get remarried.
Or, they just try dating each other again.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that. One example that comes to mind is because I'm a big Breast and Family Values fan, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I remember one episode, all of the sisters, rest in peace to Tracy, by the way, miss her a lot. But all the sisters, I think they was at their mother's house or whatever. They was just talking and stuff. And of course, when girls get together, like, so girl, what man you talking to? Who's this new random man in life? Like, Harpo, who that man? And Tony briefly mentioned that her and Carrie, Carrie from Mint Condition, that at one point they were married, it didn't work out, and then they started talking and dating again just to get a feel for it. So obviously that didn't work out because she's with Birdman now.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just another example of spin the block with that. Or the few rare times we heard Snoop Dogg and his wife was talking about divorce.
Yeah.
And that got thrown out.
Mm-hmm.
So spin the block, it doesn't necessarily mean getting back with an ex-girlfriend or an ex-boyfriend. It can go for marriages too.
So let me ask you this, because you just brought up something with Snoop and his wife. So with spinning the block, do you necessarily have to break up to spin the block?
Break up?
Yeah, because according to what you just said, Snoop and his wife didn't divorce. It was just knocked off the table.
At some point, there's got to be a separation there.
Okay, that makes sense.
So at one point, it was a separation going on. We just didn't know about it.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, there was times when we was dating, I was separated from you. You got on my nerves, but I came back.
I don't know if that's necessarily spinning the block.
It's spin a block in my head. That joke just went over your head. It's okay, but
this is what I put up with in marriage, y'all.
But to go back to the original point, it happens in marriages. It just happens in a lot of relationships.
The more I think about it, when you say that it happens a lot in marriage, when couples separate, I think that is another form of spinning the block, just not on a broader level like divorce or breakup. Yeah. So I believe what you're saying is true, and you're right.
And then I got another example because I'm just full of examples today.
I mean, all your examples make sense. So.
I'm just full of examples today. So another example is my grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
My grandparents never really divorced.
Mm-hmm.
They were just, I guess, in a sense, separated, legally separated,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it was a point in time where they were living like their separate lives and, different houses and everything like that. But through some circumstance, my grandfather had to move back into the same house as my grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
In my grandfather's mind, he thought he was moving back in with his wife. So he tried to spin the block.
Mm-hmm.
But my grandmother was not having that. She was like, "Oh no. No, sir. We're not together." But I say that to say is that's the example of the separation that needs to happen to create an opportunity to try to spin the block. Now, there's been times where, and I actually like to use the example because there are times where you attempt to split the block and you can get shut down. There's still rejection.
Yeah, you gotta understand the possibility of that, because just because you want it doesn't mean that somebody else wants it. And you know what? I'm glad you brought that. I'm gonna give an example. One of the young ladies I dated, we broke up. She broke up with me. It happens. So.
What? Somebody broke up with this chocolate goodness?
I mean, it happens. I'm good. At one point, she told me that. I told her that if you ever want to get back together, I can't say that I'm gonna feel the same.
Mm.
And she looked at me in my eyes and she said, "Well, we'll come to that bridge when we cross it." And I went off to work on myself. I was doing my own thing, and I got accustomed to being by myself. And she came back, said she wanted to get back together, and I said no.
Mm.
I was good.
Yeah, I that's a good example too.
Yeah, you know what? The more that you mention the different ways that you could spin the block, the more I thought about it. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have been so against spinning the block, because throughout the relationships that I've been through, and of course with our marriage, apparently, by your definition, I've been spinning the block in one way or another my entire life.
No, I'm glad you was against spinning the block because if you did, you probably would have came across an ex and then y'all probably end up together and we probably never been together. So I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad you were against spinning the block because baby, you're stuck with me. Okay, all right.
Do I look like I'm going anywhere?
You been where the hell you think you going? I don't know why that's even a sentence coming out your mouth.
I mean, I don't think I'm going anywhere.
But then this raised another question, something.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible to like, in the lack of better words, is it possible to want to spin the block on yourself?
Break that one down.
So, like, example, we were just talking about how we tried to spin the block with exes, right? How old we were in a different mindset. What if you're at a point of time where you're just sick of your own stuff, that you want to try new experiences and everything like that, but then let's say you get to 30 and you're like, oh man, I remember I used to really enjoy that, or I used to really love this about myself. Let me get back to that. Would that be considered a form of spin the block?
That's a good one. I never thought about that
or
one.
Or getting back to your part of your old self?
Yeah, I would think so. I think you can spin the block on yourself. Matter of fact, you can spin the block on yourself because you get back to knowing what you like, what you will tolerate, what you won't tolerate. Basically spinning the block on yourself is another form of loving yourself.
So at that point, would it be called spin the block? Would it be called reinventing yourself?
You're asking a lot of tough questions, but it's a lot of good ones.
I wouldn't say tough, but thought-provoking questions.
Yeah, something to think about. I would say it's a little bit of both.
You want to elaborate on that?
So reinventing yourself. So obviously you're going to be at a different point in your life where you're trying to get back to what you like and what you feel is important to you, but also discovering things about yourself that you didn't know. So I definitely think that those two are, I don't want to say that they're intertwined, but they...
Similar qualities.
Yeah.
So, and the reason I say that is because And before Nelly and Shanti got back together in a previous interview, she said she couldn't see herself getting back with Nelly. But obviously she was wrong about that. So I asked that because sometimes I always believe before you start loving somebody else, you got to love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't love yourself,
how can you love somebody else?
How can you love somebody else? And if you don't like different parts of your past and stuff like that, how can you they always say how can you build a future if you don't build the foundation from your past?
Can you elaborate on that one?
Example. Okay, so for me, I didn't really grow up knowing. I grew up like knowing like different what we call culture. Like I've been to like certain islands and traveling based on my mom and stuff like that. But one part I didn't like about myself was it was like I was still uncultured in a sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't know like certain type of etiquette or whatever. And part of myself is I didn't like. Well, one thing I would be bullied for was because of my deep voice and my mannerisms. I was a tomboy, so part of that I don't like about myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm over here trying to live in my soft girl era. I'm trying to create myself a soft life and everything like that. So how is it that how is it what I'm basically saying is how is it that I'm trying to create this soft life for myself in soft girl era if I didn't embrace the tomboy?
Oh, okay.
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Embrace the tomboy aspects of myself that I didn't like.
Okay, I feel you.
And the ultimate goal is to love myself in the full capacity, all facets of myself.
Okay, I follow. Yeah, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense.
So, I'm just full of thought-provoking questions and.
Man, forget dropping gems. You dropping diamonds.
Shine bright like a diamond. And songs, as always.
Yeah.
So what is your main takeaway from this?
My main takeaway from this, I actually feel like I learned something. I feel like that spinning the block is not always a bad thing. You can spin the block in a relationship, or you can spin the block on yourself. Reinvent yourself, learn something about yourself. So, and also that there's different definitions of it. But
you basically took my answer.
Great minds think alike.
But no, I learned just sitting here having this conversation. I learned there are like different outlets to spin the block, and we call it spin the block now. But it also made me come to realize it's not the first time we talked about it. It's just been known as reinventing ourselves, rediscover. There's different phrases and different situations that we call spinning the block. Sometimes it could be good, sometimes it could be bad. But I mean, that's life. Life is always 50-50.
Yeah.
Be damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah.
So
on that note, Bae, where can the people find us?
You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on YouTube, and you can find us on TikTok. You can find us on Facebook under You Stuck With Me podcast page. Bae, you want to tell them how they can find us on Instagram?
You can find us on Instagram. Just send us some comments, some likes, or if you want to send us a sticky note there, you just go to YouStuckWithMe_podcast. That is USTUCKWITME_podcast. You can send us sticky notes to our email at YouStuckWithMe@gmail.com. USTUCKWITME@gmail.com. You can leave us comments on our YouTube. Yes, we have a YouTube. If you are new to the podcast, just type in You Stuck With Me and enjoy all the content there. You can find me and my personal pages on IG and the app formerly known as Twitter at mine_1. That is M1NE_1. Once again, M1NE_1. And I almost forgot. You can also send us sticky notes to our Facebook page. You Stuck With Me on Facebook.
Yeah, go ahead and send us those sticky notes because I know y'all been burning to ask us some questions, or you just want to share a thought or two or whatever. If you want to connect with us, just send us a sticky note, and you can also contact me personally on IG and the app formerly known as Twitter under Queen Points. That is PO1NTZ. Again, that is Queen Points, PO1NTZ. And if you want some more behind the scenes of the foolishness, ridiculous, shenanigans, malarkey, tomfoolery, because we can't forget about the tomfoolery I did all that, and it just kind of gave me a brain fart. TikTok, there we go. You can find us on TikTok under Queen Points 22. Again, that's Queen Points 22.
And if you are on Apple Podcasts, make sure you like, rate, review, subscribe, and share.
And if you on Spotify, remember to do those things as well. And again, you can find us on YouTube.
This is your boy Marquis.
And this is your one on your favorite Taylor.
And this was the You Stuck With Me podcast. We're out.
Hey, come back.
You stuck with us.
You stuck. You stuck with us.
Peace.
Later.